Yes. So what is our program? What is our task? Someone read out the program.
Write a VB.NET program to add two text boxes, two labels, and one button at runtime.
Yes, to add two text boxes, two labels, and a button during runtime. So this is what my program is, correct? Let me just highlight it. So 1 second. I'll just highlight the heading. Yes, to add two text boxes, two labels, and a button during runtime. So this is what my program is. So for this program, now please do understand your program. The program is used to add two text boxes, two labels, and a button onto a form 1 during runtime. So what does my design consist of? What else should I insert in my front end design?
Text box, labels, and buttons.
Should I insert text box, labels, and buttons in my design now? Should the text boxes, labels, and buttons to be inserted in my design now during a design time? Should I design? This is now in the sense design time. Should that be inserted during a design time? Or during a runtime?
During runtime.
During runtime, I want all these things to be visible or to be inserted during a runtime, correct? So for that, so is anything else necessary now for my design? Is anything else necessary for my design?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
When you run a program onto the form 1, I need all these things to be added, correct? So for which particular thing should I write a program? For which control should I write a program?
Form 1, ma'am.
Exactly. For a form 1 upon load. That is what will be done at a starting. When you start to run, the form 1 will be loaded. And during runtime means when the form 1 is loaded, what should happen? That is what I'm supposed to do. So what should happen? When the form 1 is loaded, I want two text boxes, two labels, and a button should to be displayed on a form 1. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So I need to write a program for form 1. So I'll double click on form 1. It will give me a program, cursor blinking in a sub procedure, blinking in a sub procedure. We have discussed this in a theory class today. Sub procedure, the reason is it is not
Returning any value.
exactly, it is not returning any value. That's the reason we are writing a sub procedure for form 1, which works upon load, and it will be handling functions for my base. My base is nothing but the base form is also called as my base, which works upon load. For this particular thing, I need to write a procedure now. So the procedure is to create a text boxes, to create a two text boxes, two labels, and a button. So I need to create a text box. So I need to create a text box. So I'll say dim text 1 as text box. Please do understand this. I need to make a little more changes. So I'm saying new text box. Yes, dim text box. Text box is nothing but a control, correct? Text box is nothing but a control. Control in the sense it is nothing but a class. Controls are nothing but the classes. For a class, I am creating a new variable. I'm creating a new variable where it will be created as a new text box. I'm creating text1, which will be a new text box. Dim text1 as a new text box. Are you getting this point? I'm creating text1, which will be of a type text box. I'm creating a variable text1, which is supposed to act like a text box. So that will be done using this dim text1 as new text box. I'm making use of a keyword as new. The reason is I'm supposed to create a new control. By using a new keyword, I'm creating a new control which is of type text1, which is of a text box, and the name is text1. Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes. Now I'll make one more change. Now if I create this line within a form1, it will be a local variable, but I don't want this to be a local variable. I'll make it as a global variable by just moving it a line above it. That is, after class, I'll be creating this line, so which makes it as a global variable, so that I can make use of any procedure. Just to show a difference between local variables and global variables, I'm making this. If I had created it within a form1 load, then it will be applicable only to that particular sub procedure. I don't want that to happen, so I'm moving it as a global variable. Clear? Even if it is made as a local variable, as we are writing only one sub procedure, it works for this. But if I had used the same text1 apart from this form1 upon load, then it would not work. For that reason, I'm making it as a global procedure. Global variable. Is that clear? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now please go on saying the statements for other controls also in a similar way. Dim.
Label one
We need
as
two text boxes. Yes, that's correct. We need two text boxes. Let's complete this. Text1, text2
text2
as new text box. Next, there are two text boxes now. Next,
two labels.
dim
Label
label
one, new label.
new label. Now I'm creating a label1, a variable called as label1, which acts as a label, which is supposed to act as a label. Next, in a very similar way, dim label2 as new label. Fine. So this is about the text boxes and label. Is that enough?
Button, ma'am.
We need a button also. So new BTN, I'll say BTN, which is a short form for button. New BTN, only one button I require. So I'll just mention BTN, not one or two. BTN as new
button.
Clear? So all these are, let me comment this. These are global variables. So these are global variables. Fine with this? Yes. Now using this global variables, let me write my form1 upon load. Now I want them to be visible during my runtime. Which property will make that? Which property will make that to be visible during the visible on a form1?
Text, ma'am.
All those text boxes, labels, buttons, I want these controls to be visible, seen on your form1. Which property will make it? If you're confused with it, let me show it. This is not required. Just to check for the properties of a text box, I'm using this. So text box, can you see the properties of a text box? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Please go through these properties and let me know which property is making it to be visible on a screen. Go through all the properties.
Design.
Yes. Check with all the properties and let me know which property is making the text box to be visible on a form.
Ma'am, there is a visible option, ma'am.
Exactly. There is a visible property, a property called as visible itself. I guess someone told about text. What this text will do, it will make you to type something. It will not make your text box to be visible. If the text box is visible, that is what it is doing. So text is not an option. The first option you're supposed to go with is visible. To make that control to be visible. If I want to make it more clear, let me make it as false. I'll just make it as false. Yes, I've not written anything. So let me run this. So I've inserted a text box, correct? Correct? So, but I've made my text box
Yes, ma'am.
property, text box property of visible as false. So if I run a program, please check this. Please check this and understand the different properties of any control. Probably it is giving an error over here. The reason is, okay, sorry. The label one is already, it is saying label one is already declared. The reason is I've inserted a label over here, correct? What is the name of that? What's the name of this?
Label one. ma'am.
Label
Label
one.
what I'm trying to do in my program. I'm trying to create another variable with the same name. Did you get the difference? Did you find out the error?
Yes,
In my
ma'am.
design, I have already a label which is called as label one. And the same thing I'm trying to define it again. So that's the reason it is giving me an error. So let me change it to label one is already there. So I'll make it as label two and label three. So that cleared my error. Did you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
If you get any errors, you need to know how to debug it also. So let me run the program now. Yes, I have a text box inserted in my design, but it is not visible. Why is that? Why was that? I have a text box here in my design, but it is not seen in a output. Why is this?
We
We did
gave
false, ma'am, invisible.
Yes. So did you come to know which property makes it to be visible? Not the text property. It is nothing but a visible property. So if the visible is false, it will not make it to be visible on a screen. So what should I work with? Let me delete this because it is not necessarily required for me. Yes. So what should I do? If I want the text box, to be visible, then what should I do first? I've created a new text box that is nothing but text box one dot which property of text box one. Now text one
Visible.
yes text
Visible
Visible,
is
ma'am.
equals to true, ma'am.
yes, that's correct, very good. Please do see whichever the properties associated with the text box, all the properties are being listed now. The reason is text one is now created as a text box itself, even though it is a variable, but I've created it as a text box. So whatever the properties which were being assigned with the text box, all the properties also work with text one. Clear? So the property related to text one, that is visible property. The visible property related to text one. What should I do this?
True.
Give it as true.
To make it as true. Clear? I'll now, do you get an idea what is making it to be visible? Yes.
yes, ma'am.
Now, one second. I'll just move this label down. Yes. Now I'll just do the same thing for all my controls. Text2 dot, I'll go on saying I'll be showing the differences between different properties. So text2 dot visible, even this will make the text2 to be visible. Next, label 2 dot visible equals true. So this is making my label 2 to be visible. And please do see the changes what is happening in the above part of the program also. Once I go on making this, once I go on using the particular variable that has been highlighted, the variables which are not yet been used, they are dimmed. Can you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Label 3 dot visible. I'll make even this as true. Now I have the last one, that is button dot visible equals true. So I have made all the controls, that is I have made use of 4 controls, 2 text boxes, 2 labels and a button. I have made it as true. So that means now I am inserting them onto the design. I'm inserting them onto the front end design, which will be done during a runtime, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's see whether this is enough. Can we go for that? Let's check. I've done only a part of a program. Let's check how this will be working in my program. I'll just run my program and check how this works. Can you see anything?
No, ma'am.
But I've made them visible. Why it is not visible?
We haven't inserted that yet.
We haven't inserted the data. Okay. Okay. So let's check even for that. How will you insert a data? Which property is used for inserting a data? Let's try for one of the control. Let's see whether it's correct. How will you insert a text for a text box? Which property is taking a text for a text box? In which property will you give a text for a text box? Which property? It's a text property, correct? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me say it as hi. So I'm putting a text also into my text one. So can we say check now whether it is displaying? Can you check it? It's still not visible. What else? There is one main point you need to know. Yes, you have made them visible, but you have just made them visible, but you have not added them onto form 1. You have not added them onto form 1. If I want to add these things onto form 1, let me not do this. If I want to add these things onto form 1, if I want to add these things onto form 1, please do remember how I can do this is me. What does me stands for? Which control I'm talking about when I'm saying me? Yes. Which control am I mentioning when I say me?
Basic form one only, ma'am.
Basic control, that is nothing but a form 1. So me dot controls. Me dot controls. So I have a property in a form 1 saying controls. For that controls property, I'm adding a function. There is a function called as add, which is used to add a controls onto form 1. Which is used to add a controls onto form 1. So which control should I add? I need to add text 1. I need to add text 1. So please let me write it down over here what it is saying. It is used to add text 1. It is used to add text 1, which is nothing but a control. Text 1 is a control, correct? It is adding a text 1 control onto form 1, which is nothing but me over here. It is used to add a text 1, which is a control, onto form 1. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Not just making it visible will be enough. You are supposed to add that onto form 1. You are supposed to add that onto form 1. We have done the changes for just text 1. If this works, the same changes can be applied for all the other things. So let's just run it at this stage and check whether it is working. Can you see now?
Yes, ma'am.
At the top corner, there is a text box over here at the top corner. Can you see that?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Means this particular line is making it to work. It is making it to add the controls onto the form 1. So let's repeat the same thing to all other controls. So I'll just copy it and do a changes. So now instead of text 1, what should I do? Add which control now?
2. Text 2.
Text 2.
Text 2. Next. So instead of text 1, what should I add now?
Label 2.
Label 2.
Label 2. Now instead of label 2, I need to add
Label 3.
3. In the last one, I need to insert a button. Now, I'm trying to add each and every statement. The reason is I want you guys to know what line is making, or what line, how it works, which line works in which manner. I want you guys to know that clearly. That's the reason I'm doing these changes. Is that fine? Are you getting the changes? Text 1 dot visible. It is necessary for you to make the text 1 to be visible, but the most necessary one is to make that to be added onto the form 1. I need to first add it onto the form 1 and then make it to be visible. Clear? Now let me run it. I have made all the controls to be visible. Now let me run it, how it works. But I'm still able to see only one control, that is text 1. If someone really thinks, well, they will come to know what is happening. Why am I able to see only text 1? I've done the same
Step
thing
by
for
step
all.
process, ma'am.
Sorry, step by step.
Process, ma'am. Like after we entering the text, and it will go to the text 2, ma'am.
Okay, let me enter a text. I've entered a text. I'm entering a text and trying to press an enter button, but it's not going.
During runtime, that function we have not given in backend program.
It is during the runtime itself, the same statement, whatever I've given it here. Or if you want to do the changes, let me do it. Now, I'll not make text 1 or a text 2 to be added. I made it comment. Did you see that? I just commented those lines. That means I'm not adding text 1 and text 2 to the runtime. So let me run now. Probably you will not come to know even this, or wait. I've commented text boxes and labels. I'm just making a button to be visible and button to be added. Is the button here? Now can you see what was the
every property is at the same placement.
exactly?
So that's why.
Very good. Every control was at the same position. So everything is docked under other. That was the problem that was going on. Every text 1 is in the same position. Text 2 is also in the same position. Label 2, label 3, button, everything was being in the same location. Everything was in a same location, which was one below the other. That's the reason which was being said at the first, that is text 1 was only visible, all other text 2, label 2, label 3 button were behind that text 1, and that's the reason you weren't able to see to that labels. So let me change the location of that. There is a property for changing the location. You can write these lines anywhere. You can write the location first, visible first, or me dot control first. It does not matter. It should be in the same order. Clear? So I'll say text one dot. There's a property to set my location. That is nothing but dot location. And I'll say add a new point for that particular location. I'm changing the location. Let me say this as 20, 20. So I'm giving a location for a text one as 20, 20, where 20 will be your column, and the first 20 will be your column, the second 20 will be your row. So I'll just change the rows. I'll put one below the other. So I'll say for text 2 dot location, let me change as 20, 40, and label 2 as 20, 60. Label 3 as 20, 80. You can put any locations. I'm just going randomly, that's it. And the last one, let me make a button to be at 60, 70. You can put any locations over there. Axis is X and Y axis is what I am mentioning. I can put it anywhere. So let me run now and see what are the changes. The button is visible only half. There's a text 1, text 2. Button was visible only half. Let me, and yeah, the button is also visible. Of course, it is only part of it. It is docked under something else. What is that something else? Why is my label not visible? Are you able to see the label? Are you guys able to see the label? Why is it not visible? Label is also
It's
there.
below that text.
Yes. Yes, go ahead. For the label to be visible, you need to type something in that label. So label 2 dot text. Let me type something in a text as hi. And in my another label as everyone. Hi everyone. I'll put in a label. So if I want it to be visible, I want to make it as, I need to give a text for my label to make it to be visible. So button was docked under it. So let me change the position of it. Can I run now? I'm not able to see one more label. Yes, are you seeing the changes? Are the changes visible? This is the text box. There is a label and a button. Is the changes visible? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so this is how you will be adding labels, text boxes, and the controls and the button onto your form during a runtime. Is that clear? Just taking a maximum limit of form. So 1 second. I'll say 20, 60 for this.
Ma'am, in
Excuse
that
me, ma'am.
label 2 dot text equals everyone, is that label 2 or label 3?
Oh yeah, correct. I just wanted to make this correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Right. I had just overridden the same thing. Yes. Now is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
2 text boxes
Yes, ma'am.
where I can enter 2 labels, which is taking text boxes even before writing a text onto the label. Over here, this particular line, before writing a text also the label was visible, but the reason is you are not able to see the label because there was no text on this. So if you want to make the label to be visible, then you're supposed to add some text onto the label. So once it is added, I can see the text boxes, I mean labels also, and then a button which is clickable. But what should happen when I click it? That is not mentioned. So nothing is happening, but I click the button. So this is how we will be adding a text boxes, labels, and a button onto the form 1, the 2 during a runtime. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So there's a very less time.